Hey guys, Lukas Schwegendiek here. Today I want to talk to you about raising your standards. And I know I did this video a while back, but I wanted to do a update video on the topic. The first place I heard this was from Tony Robbins, and of course there's a lot of other personal development experts that preach this sort of stuff, but recently, when talking with a client, I found a new technique that I don't think anyone else has used yet that I want to give to you, because it was very valuable to me and to my clients, so maybe you can use it too. But first of all, we have to kind of know what people mean by raising your standards. As far as I remember, when Tony Robbins talked about it, he meant to not accept anything less than what your standard is. You will always get your standard. This means that if your standard is to have a job and a house and be able to pay for both of them, that is exactly what you will get. Because anything below that is unacceptable to you, so you'll try everything in your power to get that standard. Now, when he says raise your standards, it just means what I just said. It just means to raise it so that you accept even less, or that you not accept certain other things. For example, this person that was able to pay their house and have a job now might put as a standard that he's in a good relationship. So when his relationship goes awry, he doesn't accept this and makes it better. That's sort of what's meant by raising your standard. But it's a very vague concept because you don't know what your current standard is. So how do you raise something when you don't know what it is? You could place it anew, but that might be too high, and if it's too high, you won't be able to raise it because it's just too much stress. So I found a way that's very unique that I want to share with you right now. First, let's use an example. Let's use the example of Albert Einstein, just because it's the first person that popped into my head. Albert Einstein has a certain standard. And now what we're going to do is put a money value on his standard. I would say Albert Einstein's value is about 300,000. Now, I don't know what his value really was. I don't know, but that's just what I would guess from what I know about him. So when we say that his value is at 300,000, it means that I believe that he was only in situations, only experienced things, and only did tasks that were worth $300,000. Anything less than that, he either changed or he left the situation entirely to get into one that was worth that much money. Now, if we look at other successful people, they also have a pretty high standard, which means they will not play video games because it's probably worth less value to them. It's worth less money to them than what they're worth, so they won't bother with it. It's like saying you're one of the leading psychologists and you're being paid $200,000 a year, and then suddenly someone offers you a job for $50,000 a year. Of course you won't take that. You know what you're worth. So why would you take that job that's worth 1/4 of it when you already have that current job? But if someone offered you something worth $250,000, you'd take that. You know, it's an improvement. So that's what I mean. And I know that every one of us has some situations, some experiences, or some tasks that we do that are worth very little in our lives. That are worth very little value and therefore very little money in this example. So ask yourself, what do you think your situations are worth? Not what you are worth, but what are the situations worth that you are in? And you can really easily test this by asking yourself how much you would pay to be in this situation right now. How much would you pay to be here listening to me giving you value? $10, $50, $500, $3,000, $1 million? What is this worth to you? And then you know what your current value is. In this situation, your current value is whatever the situation is worth. Because you're saying that you're giving this situation the priority, which means you're basically being paid for it. Now, if you put yourself in a situation that's worth $2, that means your value in that situation is $2 as well. And with that, it's very easy to get into situations or have experiences that are worth more than you are, or that are worth a big amount instead of settling for the little things. Always ask yourself, what would you pay to be here right now if you weren't here? So for example, what would I pay to be here standing in front of you and teaching you this? I'd probably pay around $1,000 to be here. That sounds pretty right. It's just the first number that pops into your head. That's usually the gut feeling, which is usually the right number. Now, when I play video games, for example, it's not always that high. Most of the times it's very much less than that. But my standard, I don't believe, is at $1,000 either yet. So if your standard is worth $2, you'll be in $2 situations. If your value is worth $300,000, like Albert Einstein, you'll be in situations that are worth that much. See the picture? And when you then want to raise your standard, you only go into situations that are worth more than the situations you were in. For example, if I were to choose to raise my standard, I would probably do more of this instead of playing video games, because this is worth more to me than the video games. And realize what I just said was, this is worth more to me. I'm not expecting you to pay $1,000 to stand in front of a camera. That's totally up to you. The same as you can't expect me to pay $1,000 to do whatever it is you would pay $1,000 for. It's all dependent on the person. But I've learned that this really just gives you a nice scale, a nice reference point to where your standard is, given your situations, not your own value, and how to easily raise it. And it all starts always with the questions, what would you pay to be in this situation? And if you ask yourself this 10, 15, 20, 30, 100 times a day, you'll be able to get a very nice idea of what's worth a lot of money to you and what's worth very little to you. And then you can seek out more of the situations that are worth more to you. And I feel like that's a very nice, structured, and clear and yet individual way of thinking about it. And I encourage you to try it out. This is completely new. I came up with this just last week, and I want to have your experiences on it. What has this done for you? Does this work for you? Does this not work for you? What could you give others that maybe try this? Please write it down in the comments below, because I'm really interested to see what you guys think of this. And if you liked it, then leave a like and subscribe if you want to have more insider techniques, so to speak, about these sort of things. And share it with a friend that needs to raise their standards maybe a little bit. See you in the next video.